WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, X, and our website, www.wvtcdetroit.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. Thank you for tuning to WVTC Radio Detroit and the Community Bell Show with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner, Edna Bell. Stay tuned for insightful information Detroiters will find valuable. Text a friend and tell them to watch with you for news you can use. And now, your host, Edna Bell.
Hello, hello, hello. It is Monday afternoon at 4 o'clock, so it must be the Community Bell Show. Thank you so much for joining us again on this lovely, sunny, hot day in the city. And I'm just happy about it. I like hot. I know there are a lot of folks who say, oh, it's too hot. I'm good with that. Hot works for me. I love it. So I'm just glad to have you all with us. I'm just pleased to have you with us. I have two wonderful guests this afternoon who have some good information they're going to share with you. But before I do that, I want to just do a shout out to Dr. Bill Picard and his family. Bill Picard passed this past week, and just a marvelous, marvelous man. Did so much for so many for so long. And so to his family, we say thank you for sharing him with us. And we certainly would keep all of you in our prayers. Now, to my guest, Mr. Dwight Harris. And you know, Dwight, I don't have to do a lot of introductions for Dwight because Dwight's kind of regular. But we have Mr. Oliver Gant with us also. Oliver, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. We're glad you could join us today.
Thank
You know, they've got lots of information they're going to share with us and talk about just some situations that we need to talk about, we need to work on. Dwight, what are you doing now with DWIN?
So I'm working with customer service. I'm doing presentations.
And
I'm
before I
doing-
do that, I just gave an acronym, and I hate when people give acronyms and folks don't know what I'm
So
talking
what do-
about. What does DWIN stand
so
for?
DWIN stands for Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network,
All right, there we go.
a system of mental health.
Hmm.
And so I do that with them. I MC with them. And I also speak at some of the engagements. So I do a host of different things with DWIN, but for the most part is educating peer support specialists to make sure that they understand what their job description is, and that providers recognize that they have lived the experience and they are the ones that's in our community now, helping those people that's having mental challenges.
Exactly. And, you know, this is when you see people, police have to be called because someone's having a mental health challenge or someone is doing something that you consider to be crazy. People aren't just doing that because they want to do that. People are having some serious issues. They need help. And so what we all need to do is provide a place for them to do that. But we also need to recognize the signs
Yes.
that would lead up to them having some of those challenges. What are some of those signs? Right.
So for the community, when I look at mental exercises, I wanted to first talk about stigma. The reason I want to address stigma, because when we say mental health, there's a stigma associated with, because those people that suffer from those challenges feel stigmatized just to hear the word mental health. So that's something that our community, as well as our society abroad, have to understand when it comes to dealing with mental exercise. So one of the reasons why I say mental exercises and those that's in the business of mental health, the reason we say that is those people that have been through certain mental challenges feel stigma. There's a stigma when you say that. And so a lot of people will reject or will not come for services if we say mental health. So mental exercising basically explains that our mind is exercising at a certain degree at that time. And sometimes it might be at a low frequency or it may be at a high frequency. And in mental health, we believe that whatever it is that we are, whatever challenges there are that we are challenging, the challenges that we face every day, that we could be normalized through mental exercises.
I like that mental exercise because, as I'm sure you both gentlemen know, in the Black community, as soon as you say you got a mental health problem, everybody tells you crazy.
Yeah.
You know, and we have always been a group of people that don't want to recognize when there are some challenges going on with the way you respond to certain situations.
Yes.
And that I think is so big for us to be able to say to people in our community that everybody has challenges.
Yes.
No matter who you are, where you are, everybody has challenges. And it isn't just our community, everybody has them. And so we need to find a way to make it such that people accept
Yes.
help.
Yes. And mental exercising now is ever since COVID, we have been experiencing a high rate of individuals being affected mentally by something. And so what you were speaking about were those triggers. And what we're dealing with now, especially with our young people, our at-risk youth, is those triggers. And so those triggers, when you're not able to cope with a certain thing, then it's easy for that thing to manifest, come out of you in the action. And so one of the things when it comes to mental health for the community and my work, I'm understanding that we don't understand what's going on with people that don't understand what's going on at that time. That's actually exercising their mentals at that particular time. And so the reason I say that is because a person can be exercising at a low frequency at that time, and the person outside of them don't understand what it is. And so one of the things that I say, without just training, without you actually going to extensive trainings, is that if you're caring and you're friendly, then the work of getting down there and helping somebody has begun because you care and you're friendly. To call somebody crazy, there's stigmas to a lot of things and phrases that we use. And so in our community today, we cannot use the word crazy.
Exactly.
You don't know who's affected by things. And so what you're doing is you're holding that person back if you say those things. So just for the community to understand the terminologies and the language barriers that we use when it comes to exercising can be stigmatized. And first look at yourself and understand that the same thing that happened to the next person can happen to you as well.
Exactly. And it has no age barriers, because I think that some of the acting out that we see in young people in schools and just in the community in general has a lot to do with them not being able to cope with
Yes.
some of the mental challenges that they face, but some of the physical challenges they face. What's going on in the home? What's going on with parents? What's going on in their community? And so we have to be cognizant of the fact that these young people are going through some changes also.
Yes.
And we need to find a way to get to them.
One of the other things too is when we talk about mental exercises for our seniors.
Yay. I'm all for mental exercises.
Right. So one of the things, like when we think about COVID, we think about a lot of our seniors had strayed away from the internet and all the things that our culture was demanding that we do during COVID. And so that caused a lot of depression with a lot of our seniors. A lot of our seniors were made to use the internet, were made to use all these visual, technical,
and we don't like it.
Gadgets.
I can tell you that.
And so,
we don't like, and we're not good at it. And you know, seniors have spent their lives being good at stuff.
Yeah.
And then you tell them that you've got to use these computers and you got to log on to do this. And we don't like that.
Yeah.
And we don't like not being good at stuff, because we spent our life being good at a lot of stuff.
Especially those professionals. Like the professionals, like the workforce had changed so much. Technically, especially after COVID, where people don't even go back to work. And so everything is done on Teams.
Yes.
My advice to seniors is don't make the judgment of technology because it is a reality, but try to align with what's going on. You don't have to do everything.
Okay.
I'm not saying do everything.
Okay.
But to align.
Try to do something, huh?
It takes the stress away. It don't make you use coping skills at 70 or 80 years old. You don't have to. It don't make you do that.
Okay.
But if you go against technology, it's gonna make you think totally different, and it's gonna be depressed. You're gonna be depressed. You're gonna feel sick because you cannot do it. So I say to seniors, call me now, but a lot of seniors know me. I do that, but take your time. Don't rush to do nothing. Don't feel that because it's new that is something is wrong with the gadget. It's nothing wrong with the gadget. This is what this is what it's doing. And then
it's not the gadget, it's you.
Here's another thing. So our seniors end up calling downtown and have these automatons. And what they do, the automatons tell them what to do. And so they get upset and talk again. And so the automaton think, because you can't say nothing. So I had to tell people, like, don't talk to the automaton because you're not going to get it done. If you say, well, goddamn, I did this. Well, I did it.
And so, the automaton doesn't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so it end up hanging up and they get upset. They call again and they talking and the thing picking up and they can't get it done. So what I say is, don't say nothing. Take your time. Because it's something that's picking up on what you're saying. I know that's different. I know you're not used to that. But in today's society, I don't care what you say, something hears you. So just take your time, because it will depress you not to be able to use technology.
That's true. That's true. I'll talk to us about it.
Well, he's doing pretty good talking about that part, more leaning toward wellness and things of that nature. So I'm gonna address some more things.
So with that, you go right
That's
ahead.
in conjunction. It's in conjunction with what we got going
Okay.
on. As you know, I'm a community activist.
Mhm.
You know, we've done a number of things out here in our communities, but right now we band together. You know, it's another collective to us.
Okay.
Godmother's Touch, along with myself and brother Dwight with Icon 10,000 Strong and other associates. We're putting together a program right now.
Okay.
Okay. I call it a more extreme conflict resolution program.
Oh, boy, do we need that.
And it's like our program is geared towards the men, the at-risk young men.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna say when I speak at risk, because that could be very general.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so any young man that's out there, especially black, to me is at risk. You know, I can give some examples, but for the sake of time, I digress on that. However,
Well, you can give some examples.
okay, it's a young man. A young man was arrested.
Uh-huh.
Okay, he called the police. His girlfriend's car got stolen. They found it on the east side with something that they put on the cars, a little thing with Apple or something. They track your car and find your car. So the young man called the police. He found it on the east side of Detroit, over on Wilford.
Okay.
When the police came, he told the police it was his girlfriend's car, his friend's car. He asked them before they had the tow truck come get it if he could call the friend and have her come down here. So they gave him time. One of the officers gave him time for the young lady to leave her job, catch an Uber down there to where her car was at. So by the time the young lady got to her car, this young man, and I'm gonna tell you about this young man as I lead into the story. He had stated that one of the officers, was more likely a senior officer, was getting agitated with the time that it was taking for the young lady to get there. So they wanted to tow the car. So I guess they had a little word or so. So the young man ended up getting arrested. Okay. He ended up catching a case. He ended up going to court. And so what happened?
Something as crazy as that.
So what happened at court? What happened at court is that they played a videotape of that arrest and everything that led up to it. Come to find out, the officers lied. Now this young man is a third-year doctorate student, a young black man from the east side of Detroit. His mother moved him out to Southfield for a better way of living and things of that nature, and he's very successful. So this young man, and they also threatened and told this young man he could be killed. You know, so it was some more things in this case. So the thing about it, now what I want to say when things like this happen is that when you have a young man doing so well and his mother's backing him and things of that nature, is that they be scared to really speak up and address the situation until somebody like me gets a phone call. Okay. So that's another issue out there. I deal with police brutality matters, you know, and things along those lines. But I want to get now to the program. It's a conflict resolution program called Embarking on the Journey to Greatness. Okay.
I like that. Embarking on the Journey to Greatness.
And the reason being is because as me looking at myself as a young man, brother Dwight, things of that nature, even if we had fathers in the home, even if you didn't, we don't have no man in the house telling the young man you're embarking on the journey to greatness. They see you as a knucklehead, they treat you on a knucklehead level, and that's the end of the story. So I learned that, you know, if we start telling these young men you're already embarking on the journey to greatness, no matter what you may be doing today, we have to put that in their head. Absolutely. Indoctrinate that, for lack of a better way to state it, that you're already embarking on the journey to greatness. Then we show them what it's like to be embarking on that journey to greatness by putting examples before them, such as what me and Dwight are trying to do right now, what we're starting to do with our program, Embarking on the Journey to Greatness. So we're using a curriculum called the Cufflink Formula. Okay.
The cufflink formula.
So the cufflink formula, in short, is like going from handcuffs to cufflinks.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So it's a method in that.
Yeah.
Now, this cufflink formula was created by a man named Everett Jackson, better known as Raheem. He's incarcerated like 35 years now. And I had always stated that I wanted to use his curriculum, you know, for something like this as extreme, because that young man, that brother sitting in prison, his mindset, you know, it's like he didn't basically built himself up and learned enough knowledge and wisdom about things going on, and seeing the young man coming in prison over 3 decades now to know how to put certain things like this together. And it's a very phenomenal curriculum. So I shared it with the brother Dwight. He got to get his copy though. And I told him that I thought this would be a very great curriculum to use. And what better curriculum to use than someone who's already incarcerated, who has been in there for a number of years, but has a lot of knowledge about things that are affecting the young man out here today. So our whole goal is to prevent these young men from going down the road to prison or early grave.
Now, is the program up and running yet?
Well, we're waiting on our first set of books right now.
Okay.
So to tell you, we're looking to put 20 young men in each class. Okay. Now I want to tell you why this class is a little bit more extreme. This is not a mentorship type program where someone could just say, hey, I want to sign my son up, or my nephew, or my godson, or my grandson, or my nephew. This is a program where the parent has to be committed as well.
That's the piece.
So we're streaming it.
That's the piece.
Yeah, we're streaming
yes.
it to a 12-week program
Okay.
based on the curriculum.
Mhm.
But there's a reason why the parent has to be in attendance with them weekly, because they have to be accountable as well.
Yes.
We also want them to see how we give this method or this teaching to that young man.
They need to know what you're telling them.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And then there will be a time where they will have to come in and sit down and have a talk as well, because they get to chart the progress of that young man that they brought into our program.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this program, I think, like I shared with the brother, is probably going to be one of the most effective conflict resolution programs that we'll have in our city and perhaps the whole state.
Yeah.
You know, so
What's the age limit?
well, we're going to have 2 different age limits.
Okay.
We're going to have between 11 and 15. I
Mhm.
believe the next one will be like between 16 and 21 or 22 years old.
Okay.
Okay,
Mhm.
so we're definitely going to have 2 different age limits.
And it's a 12-week.
It's going to be a 12-week curriculum.
What? How many days a week?
One
One day
a week.
One week.
Yes, 1 a
okay.
week.
Okay.
And not only that, our program is going to be streamlined to turn these young men who are at-risk young men, whether they are knuckleheads, they very well might be.
Mhm.
But I'm taught to see them on a spiritual level first and foremost, meet them on their level.
But we got to
afterwards.
reach them. What
So-
knucklehead or not, we got to
So
find a way
exactly.
to reach them.
So what we're going to do is turn these young men into leaders in their school. If you're the
Okay.
knucklehead in your school, let's
Mhm.
flip the script and see how you become the leader in your school. You're going to take what you learned in this curriculum. You're going to talk to your friends and your peers in your school about what you're going through and how this is affecting and helped you. You know,
I
and
like
so
that.
so the beauty of that, again, it's going to be incentive based. You know,
Mhm.
and but with the parents, this is the plus,
Yes.
because I don't know if any programs that have parents in attendance
Mhm.
other than
Mhm.
dropping a young man or woman off to a young lady off to a program and saying, hey, you
I
got a
picked you up
mentor.
before.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's basically a little bit
Okay,
about embarking
that's
on the
different.
journey to greatness.
Yeah.
I
And
love
so those programs, we're working with Michael Lai. He
Mhm.
been over there with me.
it. Okay.
And so we're working with Virgil Smith
Mm-hmm. Mhm.
at the church down in the Eastern Market.
Mm-hmm.
So we have availability there.
Was it the
However,
Catholic Church was Father Thomas what?
no, it's a
Another
Greek church
Oh,
on the
okay.
other side of Gratiot from actual
I know,
Eastern
yeah.
Market,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
I'm helping being connected to put these programs in the rooms in there.
Okay.
They have a gym in there as well. So what we want to do with the gym is turn it into the pit. The pit is where I grew up at. That's who you know now. I learned that in prison. We
Mhm.
call it, that's the pit, the workout.
Okay.
So when you get to prison, you that's the first place you go, because that's where body at, and you just looking. Some guys go in, but some guys just braze around or whatever.
Mhm.
But if you got some homeboys there, 9 times out of 10, if you get up in the morning, you finna work out.
Okay.
You going to the pit. And so in the pit is mentorship. So we want to turn the gym upstairs in that church into the pit, a
Mhm.
mentorship program, where our average youth, our children that's in school that's acting up, it's on the dean list. We have the deans, the people that deal with them in the school, send them to us,
Mm-hmm.
send them to the pit. And in the pit, we have all different, like I had talked to Shell, want to be working out and all
Mhm.
that. If y'all don't work out there, come to our pit, because there might be some kids in here, right? We can
Okay.
mentor in the pit. So you can't come in there unless you work, and ain't no browsing,
Oh, okay.
walking around the side and none of that. We really gonna use it as a pit. And this what me and him met at. We met on the bar,
On the what?
pull-up bar.
Pull-up
Oh, the
bars.
pull-up bar.
Yes,
So
yes,
in the
ma'am.
pit at
Yes.
jail.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it was the pull-up, because
Okay, gotcha.
either you go to the pit or you go to the bars.
Okay.
So it's a lot of people lined up to do pull-ups. You go, I go, like that, and we just go
Okay.
back to back. And so we met. And so I just believe that dealing with our children now,
Mm-hmm.
just be real. They like robots. Like there's nothing like how we were in the 80s. Not having no parent, like they so the things that they do is so like monstrous, right? But they're actual babies. So I say it's robotic because after they do it, they don't realize what they've done.
Really?
No. So it just for reentry purposes, for people to know, when a person do a murder, he go to prison. In 10 years, he break down. Well, what do he do when he break down? He come out and holler at his homeboy, let me holler at you for a minute. And then it be the you get the,
The crying.
yeah. And so
Mhm.
for the most part, most guys gonna get from guys doing time, like you need to go back in. Cause we ain't finna get it together there. Come on back out, man. So 10 years that's a guy's breaking point, really, whether you gonna say, I'm gonna stay here, or whether you're gonna say, I'm gonna keep fighting. I think Oliver could speak to that. And the time he had and how he got himself out. Actually.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna share this part, and this is another topic of discussion for you at a later date. Now, I was sentenced to 20 to 30 years, second-degree murder. Okay. How I got convicted is one thing. Okay. And this is why I say we're going to revisit this, because even though I was convicted, you know, per paper, as he say, I fought to get myself back out in my 13th year because I was illegally convicted. That doesn't mean I didn't do anything. I still accept culpability for my actions, for what transpired to get me in the judicial system in the first place. But the means that they used to convict me were illegal because they took a verdict form and took the option of a not guilty option off the verdict form. So the jurors were left with the only option to find me guilty of second-degree murder.
Really?
Yes. I fought that tooth and nail for years myself. Every attorney I had, they were no good. I did my own legal work. I got back in my 13th year with Judge Cahalan at the time. I wrote him probably a year prior, like, Your Honor, he was my successor judge. Prentice Edward Sr. was my primary judge. So I said, Your Honor, I said, I have been illegally convicted. These verdict forms are not proper, just, or in alignment with the standard verdict forms for the state of Michigan. He wrote me back 8 days later and told me my protestations were unfounded and I indeed had a fair trial. The jury verdict forms were not defective. Almost a year later, and mind you, I did my own legal work during this time. A year later, I get a call from an attorney that I had hired to argue a brief that I prepared before Judge Callahan. He called my mother, who was living in Atlanta at the time, and told my mother a case came out identical to your son's. Identical, same issue, out of Detroit, where a guy working at a junkyard was a guard and shot a man in the junkyard, killed a man in the junkyard, went to trial, same verdict form situation. They took the actual verdict form and typed up their own, but they didn't put all the elements of the verdict form in it. And it left that situation. So they gave this man his action. So the attorney that did his case, I wrote him. I said, I forget his name, forgive me. But he wrote me right back and said, well, out of courtesy to Judge Callahan, he's a great man, a great lawyer, a good friend. He told me I indeed had the issue, and he sent it to him. And from that moment forth, Judge Callahan written me down there 3 times, gave me everything I asked for, gave me a bond, 30,000 cash of surety. They still fought me. So it's just, we have a lot to talk about in those rounds to show how things happen and how we get in that system. But case in point, I did 20 years. Okay. So in that 20 years, I've seen a lot change with the young men coming in there. Some of these young men were coming in there looking like they were 30 and 40 years old. They wasn't more like 20, things that nature. And I knew something was going on bad out in the streets, just didn't know what until I got out here. You know, but again, we have a place in hopes of trying to prevent some of these young men from walking in that path that we already walked. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of guys like me and Brother Dwight that has a number of years up under our belt that say we've done enough time. We don't even have to go through that door if you want to listen to what we have to give.
That's the piece, that you can tell them things that they would never hear from somebody who's never been in. Because that person wouldn't even know.
And so so the way I look at it, and people that know me in the community, I've done a lot of different community work, all kind of different angles. I've been home 12 years. I've been doing it for like 10 and a half. And so what I understand is that the issues that we're dealing with when it comes to the violence, which is the issue right now, and our children, is that we are not making impact within our community. We have activists that's on the outside of the community and says they're from the inside, which means that there's no way that we can actually reach the actual young shooters.
It would be
These
like
are not
me going in there and trying to talk to
and
not gonna respect you.
They would look at me like they'd be respectful, but they look at me now.
And so
she know anything. She hasn't been where we are.
And so my politics, I ain't never used to say that, is not to rattle the fence with nobody, you know what I'm saying, but to try to understand what's the order is of what we're doing. But when it comes to change and innovation and maturing in what we do, we have to be able to collaborate and network, step outside what it is to do, because things change every day. And so with our children, mine is the past. My passion is the children. This is what I went through. I was just left to just whatever. The whites are so bad. It don't care what happened. If he go, if he come back, it don't even matter. So I know there's kids like that that's finna go through that right now that really don't understand what they doing. Yes, their behavior is that way, but true to be told, once they get behind the bars, they're gonna actually act like they forgot what they really done. And in true essence, they are not the person that's doing it. Well, why you say that? Because I've spent so many years of people have done it. And I know 10 years later, they cannot believe that they did what they did. Oh, no, the society is not gonna. I don't care about that. You killed my baby. You did this. We need to understand that the killings are not the person. It's conditional. These kids ain't killing because they want to kill, shoot, ride. It's conditional. And yes, no, they won't know who they. And yes, 20, 30 years, they will be changed like Dwight or like Oliver. But why do they have to go through that? It's a more radical approach when it comes to community intervention. It has to be more radical and more hands-on. It can't be political, because when it's political, it has so many different arms in it. We don't know which way to go when it comes to community violence intervention. So those programs that we're doing, what made sense to me is to connect with people I felt that had the same type of vision and passion behind the work. And a lot of those are sometimes overseen, overlooked. The real true work when it comes to our community. And so me connected with him, Big 50, Godmother's Touch. What that says is that we can touch the community.
Yes.
We're not saying that politically that we can do something. I say that we can touch the community with the people. And so we come
and they'll listen to you.
Yeah, and they will listen to us. And for us to come downtown and to have people like Virgil Smith, you are on the board with Mac Alive, Miss Hardeman, and everybody over there, being able to bring all these entities, that these programs that we got in the community, and show how it works. Everybody can't do that. I think I can do that. Okay. Everybody can't get in the middle. They don't have time to get in the middle to hear what he says, she said. That bothers people. It don't bother me.
That's why.
So I can get in the middle. I'm like, and if people know me, I don't try to take the lead no more. I like to put it together. People, it worked better. Ain't nobody listening to me. They just like what I say now. They like the strategy. It makes sense. It's cool to do it together. So I take that role to put that church together downtown where it's a program hub. And what I'm going to do, I'm a certified in wellness recovery action plan.
Okay.
And so all those programs, I'm going to wrap it with wellness.
That's another good component, because again, nobody's doing that.
Yes.
You see.
Yes.
So we talk about our conflict resolution program, which is going to be kind of extreme. But at the same time, I think our programs, they give it an opportunity, and the people give it an opportunity. And those people who know they have an at-risk young man in their household, they know they need to get them to that program.
That's right.
And we will have our literature within the next week or so you can post that up.
Well, you have to come back then and talk about it when we start. We'll have to show the literature and come back and talk about that program, because it's so important, because not only for the wellness piece, but these kids need some physical wellness too, because some of them have issues that are physical, that are not mental.
They don't.
Some of them never been to a doctor.
So
some of them don't even know that they need glasses. I mean, just all of those basic kinds of things that these babies need.
So I want our audience to know that Mac Alive is on Fisher and Mac.
Yes.
Which is say reentry program is that's light. It's a community program for the disadvantaged. It reaches all aspects of our community, and it's led by real prominent, strong leaders that have been in the community from way back all the way up until now. And so,
while you're on Mac Alive, know that Mac Alive is having its annual parade in August. So everybody get ready.
Yes.
And we have our annual, and this is 35, 37 years we've been doing this. So.
And so that's on Fisher and Mac. But what I want the audience to know is that anybody that come home from prison, we want them to go to Mac Alive. Reach out to us, reach out to the show, get the address, and we be doing reentry forums over there. And we want to be able to lead you the right way coming home through reentry. Mac Alive is one. We're not corning nothing up. We're saying Mac Alive is one of the real strong up and coming programs that have real substantial backings that make sense when it comes to the development of men and women coming home from prison. And we want people to come there. And we are working with all these other programs. We are working together. We're showing how to network and to collaborate together and not stand against each other, to make sure we're not doubling the work in the same space, but we're getting the work done together.
Well, this new program that you're talking about, I think is going to be so important to young men in this area.
Yeah.
It's interesting you talk about young men and fathers. Larry Whitfield, one of our other kind of manages the station, helps Sandy out, had a show yesterday of men, and it talked about what men need to do to help their sons,
Yes.
and that women have been doing a lot of it, but there's some things that women can't do for a young boy.
Yes.
And they need to see a man talking to them about some of these issues and helping them with some of these issues. You know, women are really good, but some stuff we know that women just can't teach a young boy how to be a man.
Our program going out.
And that's what I think is so powerful about this program.
And so September 21st, I work for D-Win. We're having a men's conference.
Oh, okay.
At the Considine.
Okay.
I'm putting it together. No, I'm taking the lead on it. Orlando Bailey is doing the host thing with me.
Very good.
But he's real busy now. But I've been putting together. We work hand in hand. And so I believe what this, to me, it was more so what I feel that how I feel men should be, the character of a man. So what am I pitting that up against when I came home, and how I was dealt with by the men when I came home? I could handpick the real love and support that I received when I came home from prison. And so my thing was, what do we do as men? What do we do? How do we resurrect ourselves from where we at right now? You know, we've been there before. It's like we gave it up. We're so lazy now, you know. And so what do we do? And so in wellness, I see that we just start caring about ourselves a little bit. We need to relax before even getting into what's the problem. Understanding how to relax, understanding how to meditate. You know, everybody say they know how to pray, but I always say just meditate. Let's take everything out your mind. You know, a lot of times we have been thinking all our life, going through trauma, childhood adverse experiences, all those neglects, all those sufferings that we went through as children. And then we grow up with never having therapy, never having no one talk to us about it and tell us everybody that it's okay. As we get older, we suffer from the things that we never dealt with when we were younger. And so what we're dealing with today is that's the residue of that. And so for us to get well, we have to be friendly to each other and caring and understand where that person at, because you could be the person tomorrow.
Boy, is that the truth? Is that the truth?
Yes.
Well, I just am so pleased that you young men have decided to put this program together.
Thank you.
It's going to be up and running. What did you say? Another couple of weeks?
Well, we're waiting on materials now. Actually, materials have already been ordered for our first class. But since we decided to do 2 different age brackets, so we have to now call in to get the second set of materials.
Now, how are you going to select the young people?
Before we go there, to go back to a question you posed, so we may have to do 2 classes a week.
Okay.
In fact, we're going to have to do 2 classes because we got 2 different age brackets. You know, we can't do them all in the same grouping. So we're going to have to do 2
a week.
Two classes a week. Now, the way in which we go about getting these young men, like word of mouth, and like I said, our advertisement, our social media promotions and things of that nature, and even this platform sitting here with you right now today. So people are hearing that we have this program coming forth, but we don't want parents to be afraid to send their young men to this program, because we said that they have to be accountable as well. And that's what we're going to get a lot of, but I don't care that we're going to get that, because you have some that's going to say, hey, I like that. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's something for everybody.
And so with the program, we got all these arms plugged, like millwrights, carpentry, and all of the apprenticeship programs, schooling and things like that, to make so. And I say that it's so many programs, but what I feel that's good about this program, that we are pulling all kind of people with viable programs into the church, that building. So, and that's to anybody. If you have a program that you feel that works in our community. It could be wellness, you could be educated. You don't have to be educated. You could be an activist, you could be a leader in the community. And you feel that this program, you could put an 8 to 12 week program together, because in this building, we'd like everybody graduate same time if we start, right? So we can continue to have cohorts of programming in the building. If you have one, contact us. We're looking for programs to put. We have a lot of rooms in the church, upstairs and downstairs.
Tell me what church this is again now.
So it used to be a Greek church. If you come in down
Gratiot.
Eastern Market, what's that street? Come through there. Russell. You cross over Gratiot. Right to the left. You got
I got you.
Right
there. Right across the light on Gratiot.
Yeah, right there. And so we want to get the program, all these programs in there. And do that. And so,
now, how does one contact you if they want to be a part of it?
You could call. You could contact me, Dwight Harris, which is icon 10 at 313-370-2160. My Facebook is Dwight Harris, my face. Or my Instagram is Dwight Harris Story, which is pertaining to a story that I plan on doing on stage, 78 minutes at the end of the year, about wellness and me coming home from prison.
Awesome.
So you could contact me.
Now give the telephone number one more time.
They give you a phone number.
Contact. It's my, sorry about that. It's my my clock.
Oh.
And so my telephone number is 313-370-2160.
And my number is 586-252-1497. That's Oliver Gant, 1,000 Strong. Oliver Gant on Facebook.
So as y'all know, if you've seen me and Oliver Gant, we've been on the news. We do a lot of things with a lot of reporters when it comes to housing, whatever those issues is. You can always contact us when it comes to you having an issue. You can't get it done in the community. We don't care what it is.
That's right.
And we will address it properly, whatever it is that we could do to make things better.
I'm gonna give my phone number one more time for the listening audience.
Thank you.
My phone number is 586-252-1497. That's 586-252-1497. Oliver Gant on Facebook.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This has just been wonderful to hear that we've got something coming. We've got some exciting stuff coming.
Yes.
That's going to help these young people, because every weekend you hear something. Well, this kid got shot. 3 got shot over here, and 4 got shot over there, and they're getting access to these guns. That's our issue.
We haven't
technology. That is an issue.
Technology, man. Just like technology, like we it's nothing we can't defend against the technology. The technology is readily available.
No, a gun is not technology.
That's how they get it. They use the technology to get it. Go online, they make a ghost gun. They can make them at AK.
He's to how they making them.
You don't need to go to the store.
So you telling me
they know how to buy all the pieces and put it together.
Oh my.
With no serial number. Yeah. They don't have to get the gun.
That's pretty scary.
Yeah, it is.
That's just one aspect.
That's technology. That's why I say technology. Yeah. Oh so our children, I just want to say, our children do not go and get the guns from the back door of the gun shop.
Okay.
These are black market guns that we're dealing with. So when we talk about gun legislation, when you're talking about what we're applying to a community, saying what's going to happen at the gun store don't have nothing to do with the way the kids get their guns.
Wow.
Period. So we when we do that, we affected somebody. That's why they pushing back so hard, because that's not what they do. It don't have nothing to do with passing a gun out the gun store. Our kids get guns out by the thousands, but they can just get them and hurry up to stick them in their pocket, right, and run, or if they got some money, or they can make their own. They're smart enough to go on the internet and get these kids know every piece of the gun.
Wow.
They're not dumb.
No, they're not dumb.
So they take the whole thing and put it together. So you can't.
And if we can harness that knowledge and that ingenuity that these kids have into a positive, it would be awesome.
So let me tell you what's scary though. AI and our kids with AI.
Yeah,
and we'll talk about that later.
That's scary. That's real scary. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
This has been enlightening. I just heard about kids being able to go online and get some pieces and make a gun on them. That is real scary.
Yes.
But thank you so much for trying to do what you can do
Thank you.
to help with some of what's going on with these babies, because they're still babies.
Yes.
We just have to make sure that they are pointed in the right direction. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We're gonna
for
have you
having
come
us.
back when the program starts, so you can
Yes,
come back and talk
definitely.
to us about
Yes,
it
gladly.
and what's going on. You got the books and how the
Yes.
parents are reacting and how the kids react. That's gonna be wonderful.
Yes. Yes. And that would be great to just do follow-ups.
Yes,
Because I think that would help the community to see how strong is this program. So we want all the involvement we can get.
absolutely. Well, we'll get it from you.
Yep, and it's Icon 10, 1,000
Strong.
strong, and Godmother's Touch, We the City.
I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on the Community Bell Show on this Monday. We'll see you next Monday at 4:00, because it must be the Community Bell Show if it's Monday at 4:00. Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
I was following the process of applying, and I was getting rejection letters. That was kind of disheartening, but I just continued to push through. Usually when I got to that question of, have you ever been convicted of a felony? Sometimes I would check yes and provide supporting documentation. I tried to do the expungement process on my own. I felt like I was being sent on a wild goose chase. Ultimately, I finished the process, but as a result of me having more than one felony at the time, I was rejected, and I couldn't apply again for like 36 months. So after that time had passed, I heard about Project Clean Slate. As a result of Project Clean Slate, I've been able to advance my career. It was a seamless process. I want to say like 8 or 9 months in total. Initially, I submitted the online application. Soon after that, I was contacted for fingerprinting. After fingerprinting, I had my hearing with the judge and the prosecuting attorney. After that, I was notified that my record was sealed and I was no longer a convicted felon.
Calling all current and former members of the Gospel Music Workshop of America Detroit chapter. It's time to reunite and make a joyful noise together. Join us for an unforgettable musical service Sunday, June 30th, 2024 at 4 p.m. Greater New Mount Moriah Baptist Church, 586 Owen Street, Detroit. We welcome you to come back and sing with us. Let's gather in the spirit of gospel music and the fellowship we cherish. Mark your calendars for the one and only rehearsal on Friday, June 14th, 7 p.m. at Craig Memorial Tabernacle, 14201 Puritan Avenue, Detroit. For more details, visit www.gmwadetroit.org. Join Iris Taylor, our Detroit chapter chairperson, Dr. Michael Fletcher, our minister of music, as we come together in song and praise. This musical is free of charge and open to the public. A free will offering will be accepted, so bring your family and friends for an evening of uplifting gospel music. See you there on Sunday, June 30th at 4 p.m.
Hey, my name is Joe Smith. I'm a filmmaker here in Detroit, and I watch WVTC and listen. Watch and listen. You got the eyes and ears, both.
Thank you for listening to Community Bell with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner Edna Bell. This broadcast was brought to you by WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, our website, www.wvtcradio.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. If you've enjoyed this broadcast, tell a friend to tune in. We'll see you next Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern to the Community Bell Show, right here on WVTC Radio Detroit.
Go to your Apple or Google Play Store and download the WVTC Gospel Radio app today. You can also say, Alexa, play WVTC Radio Skills.
Would you like to play WVTC Radio Network?
Absolutely. Download it today.
You're listening to WVTC Gospel Radio Detroit, and we're flowing in the Spirit.